Good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night, you good people of United Progressive Party. Brothers and sisters, comrades and friends who are listening, I'm so glad to be here at Freemansville tonight in the Zone 3, particularly to support all my colleagues that comprise Zone 3. And as you know, we are in the constituency of that man called Chandler Codrington. Give it up for Chandler! You know Chandler is a man, for those of you who know the English language, who has testicular fortitude. Want me to say he has real balls? He's a real man. And he's the man for All Saints West. When election day comes, we must rally behind Brother Chandler Codrington. And of course, for those of you who have traveled from All Saints East and St. Luke, I'm talking about Old Road, Sweets, John Hughes, All Saints. We are going for Sister John Messiah all the way. All the way. And if you happen, when you came out of Sweets to turn right, we are going down to Liberta. We are going to Palmat. We are going for Brother Nambalumba. All the way. But for those of you who don't like to follow directions, and instead of coming up through road and take the other way and decide that you're going through Bowlands, you're going through Erlins and so on, we are going with Brother B. Baptist all the way. And brothers and sisters, I know all of you, your heart goes out for Brother B. He's a champion. He was with us from the beginning. When nobody was around, he was a fighter. And he stayed true to the cause. And he'll slip and fall down. But he's a very positive man. He's a champion. And we know he will recover to the full recovery to take home St. Mary's South for the United Progressive Party. Brothers and sisters, in this constituency of All Saints West, I again urge you that you must stay solid with Brother Chandler Codrington. All the way with Chandler. Chandler has been loyal to you. He has stayed with you. And brothers and sisters, Brother Chandler has had a rough deal. You know, he has a constituency which he inherited. Well, not inherited, he won. He won this constituency. And in order to look after it, he met all sorts of developments which were done by the Antigua Labour Party. Instead of ensuring that these developments had the infrastructure in place, i.e. the water, the gutters, the roads, the persons who were developing them just ran away with the money, and now poor Chandler has to deal with it. And it is bearing him down. He tries hard, you know. I'm really sorry for him. In fact, I was getting so much pressure down there in Poynton Villa that you know Chandler is a junior minister in public works. So I take my forwardness and pick him up and say, look, come down by me, may I get some blower. And when we start to go through the areas and so on, when I'm done, he tell me, boy, councillor, if me may have road as good as you, see me all right. But you know we can try, but me and the president say, Chandler, don't worry, you just fight on, brother, because you have a large constituency. It is very hard on you. Some people who know, who know that what you took over, what you inherited, was not your fault. It was not the United Progressive Party fault. It was the fault of those greedy ALP ministers who got together with some of those developers and didn't want to give the people what they should have got in relation of infrastructure. And now every day they're calling on the radio. They're abusing him and so on. It's little the man can do. Public Works is trying to help him, but we must stand with him. And he's a true man. And he's a strong man. And I urge you all to stay with him. And when you look at his opponent, some fella named Michael Brown that they pick up somewhere in America. I don't know if it's a miss or a mister, but it says Michael Brown. And when he come here, I understand that walking around with him is Hillroy Medical Benefits. What your name? Hillroy Medical Benefits who? Okay. And he is the one that is recommending him to the people of All Saints West. Well, if you have a man like that is recommending them, you people of All Saints West, know that you must reject him at the polls. And those of you who are long in the politics, know that the same Hillroy Medical Benefits Humphreys went crossed by a certain red gate. And just when he was to go in, some things happened. Now, if that is the kind of recommendation you have, that kind of man cannot stand up to that man called Chandler Codrington. No way at all. The man has no record in order to be able to be a better alternative to Chandler. So brothers and sisters, and you comrades also in All Saints West, stay strong with Chandler Codrington. He has a great future. He's a man that believes in his constituency. He's humble from this area. And you must stay with him and fight with him. Brothers and sisters, those people from this constituency should also take note that they had a man used to run against Chandler called Davin Joseph. I'm not going into that part about it. But what I want to tell you is this. At least Davin tried to show some loyalty to Gaston Brown. Chandler was involved in his developmental papers. And not Chandler, I mean Davin was involved with his developmental painters. Davin Joseph was also involved with his development at Jennings. Both of them, he stood with Gaston. He went further and supported Gaston for the victory to be the leader of the ALP. He then went and won a primary to try and represent this constituency. And from the time Gaston won, Gaston just turned on him and cut his throat and sent him a guasa. So what I'm trying to tell the people of All Saints West, you must understand that the Antigua Labour Party has no use for your people. They don't love anybody. They only love themselves. And therefore, if they could treat Davin Joseph like that, if they could treat Gail Christian like that, what would they do to you in this constituency? Stay strong with Chandler Codrington, because he is the man for All Saints West. Brothers and sisters, after Gaston Brown has devoured poor Davin, you have heard now that he has his mouth dripping. He wants to go and raid the medical benefits and the Social Security scheme. Brothers and sisters, it is like a thief watching you work every day. Work hard every day. Buy what you work for. Put it in your house and pack it up. And have everything and want to come in the night now and thief it after you've earned it. You must remember that when the United Progressive Party came into power in 2004, the Social Security scheme had nothing in there. The government owed it over 500 million. And inclusive of that 500 million, you must remember that Gaston's sidekick, the man who is twin to at the waist, Asset Michael, took out over $1 million out of Social Security for Hurricane Louis relief. And up to this day, he has not accounted for it. Because they want to go and grabble up what is there. We have now brought back Social Security to some respectability. We want to take it further. We want to ensure that we can increase your pensions. We want to have index-linked pensions. For those of you who don't understand index-linked, what it means is this. If you're getting a pension now for $100 today, and next year, the dollar that you have for $100 can't buy what you used to buy. You need $150 to buy what you could buy now. They raise your pension to $150. That is what is called an index-linked pension. It follows inflation. So just like before time, a $20 used to be a big thing. Now you have to use $100. So if you used to get $20 as pension, you should get $100 now. Because you buy the same like what you used to get before for $20. That is what the United Progressive Party is trying to do. And that is why we want the reserves to build up so that you can get the benefit. But Gaston Brown, Asset Michael, and all those crooks and rogues want to dive in there again and have them do some fancy projects. And these fancy projects, brothers and sisters, all of you know how the situation runs in Antigua. If you're going to build these houses, he said 500 houses in 500 days. All right, make a house say so. But you know what's going to happen? Somebody for he going to be the truck man. Somebody for he going to be the contractor. Somebody for he going to mix the mortar. So the money that they going to pay, who pocket you going in? Well, no, let me say so. This is. So they want to go there and raid it again for their own personal self. Not for the benefit for the Antigua and Barbudans, which the United Progressive Party and Baldwin Spencer have striven so hard to ensure that we bring improvement to our social security scheme. And don't talk about the medical benefits. I told you about the man who caused problem before, who is walking around with Michael Brown. But we are now trying to restore the medical benefit scheme. And we want to make it into a universal health scheme, so that whenever you run into hardship, the scheme is there to help you out. You don't have to go around with a piece of letter and a sponsorship sheet, begging here, begging there, and begging everywhere. But in order to get that, you have to build up the reserves. You got to build it up so that it is there for you to use. Not to be using all kind of fancy projects, and then when somebody drop ill, you can't get no help. That is what this United Progressive Party is trying to do. And all the medical ailments that are taking place now. Some of you have families who have just dropped down. They were healthy all along. But as they come along in life, you know, things happen. And they don't have the little change to go to the hospital. Medical benefit scheme should be there to assist. And that is what the United Progressive Party will ensure happens in this country. That is why you need the United Progressive Party and Baldwin Spencer now more than ever. And I tell you, brothers and sisters, we in the United Progressive Party have tried to bring you stability. We have tried to bring you trustworthiness. We have tried to show you that we are moving in the path for prosperity. But you have to get the foundation built. And we can't do it overnight. It takes time. Brothers and sisters, we depend on tourism to take our economy forward. And don't care what the Antigua Labour Party says. Don't care what they say. Until the economies turn around in the United States, Canada, Europe, no amount of tourists are going to come to Antigua. Because that's where our tourists come from. So all this nonsense about them have foreign investors to come in here. You know how much it is to build a sensible hotel in this country? You're talking about $250, $300 million, you know. And when you hear they build those kind of properties, they must in their mind know that they can fill those properties for the next 10 to 15 years. But you can't fill it unless the tourists can come. And the tourists can't come unless their economies are in good shape, that they have good jobs where they're coming from to go back and work. So all this nonsense they're coming to you with all kind of shortcut and easy answers, they are deceiving you and lying to you. Because until the world economy turns around, we are going to stay just as we are. And we in the United Progressive Party and our government has been fighting hard to keep the ship afloat. It has been difficult. Yes, we have made some mistakes, but we have kept it going. And we still ensure that you can look after your children with your school meals and your uniforms and all of that. You still have the PDV, which help you out with a little light bill and a little food. We're trying to help out. We're not saying we can do everything, but we're keeping things afloat. Remember when we took over from them in 2004? They couldn't pay salaries, nothing could happen. The country was in total disarray. And it's the same men that are there today who want to come in now to eat up the cheese. The same people. Cutie Benjamin, Asset Michael, Malwin, Gaston, Robin, all of them are there to come back now. And you know they're coming back for spite and vengeance and to get what they can for themselves. That is what you all have to be careful of. Because you know how vengeful they are and how spiteful they are. And don't talk about that Cutie Benjamin. You heard him the other day in the budget debate. Have the gall to come and criticize the state of the police force in this country. Brothers and sisters, this is the kind of brazenness that these crooks and vulgar vagabonds are bringing to you. When we took over in 2004, there was no switchboard at St. John's. There was no switchboard at headquarters on American Road. Wait, y'all forgot? Remember I brought in here the state-of-the-art public communication system so the police and them could have all kind of radios all over this country? The ALP went power for 28 years. They did nothing for them. Cutie Benjamin came and said to you all that crime and the police force was not a priority. After 28 years, how dare he come now after our 10 years when we given them all that communication system? We have given them more vehicles than the ALP have ever thought about. They still get vehicles this week again. The fire service have all kind of machines. Firefighters, state of the art. We, the UPP, gave them that, not the Antigua Labour Party. And he has the gall to go into Parliament and give the impression, I come with some Nancy story about when police go away overnight, they only get $15 and a friend and them get $25. Can you imagine that? We gave the police force in excess of a 25 to 30% pay raise. Wait, y'all forget about that too? I hope the police force remember all these things, you know. Because the same Labour Party didn't care about them. All they were trying to do is manipulate people in the police force to do their dirty work. And we said, no, we want you to do your work professionally and you'll be paid properly. All right, may accept that we still have some work to do with that. But at least we are on the right road. And if you give us the chance, come the next general elections, we will continue with the good work. But don't be fooled, because they say Antiguans forget quickly. They say we forget quickly. And we should not do that, because we must remember there were times when most of you tried to call the police at St. John's or at headquarters and you couldn't get through. So don't, this nonsense about they're going to do this for the police force and so on is total nonsense. Brothers and sisters, I try to tell you that you're going to get one of your most welcome surprises this election. Because down in City West, we are coming home. We are coming home to Jerusalem. Brothers and sisters, you saw tonight the young people that came up here. They are finished with Gaston Brown, of all his deceit and his promises and his attempts to abuse the people down there. All them projects that you see he has, he had no care for the people of City West. He said they're too thief, they're too nasty. He can't have them around him. He doesn't care about them. Brothers and sisters, couple of things you must remember. Gaston Brown was a minister of planning in the Antigua Labour Party. During the period that he was a minister of planning in the Antigua Labour Party, you tell me one project that he did that you can see was beneficial or of any significance to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Tell me one thing that he did when he was Minister of Planning. The only thing we heard about was that he intended to lay off 3,000 people. Brothers and sisters, when the Honorable Prime Minister Baldwin Spencer gave me the opportunity as Minister of Justice and Public Safety, you saw what I tried to do with the police force. You see what we tried to improve things, and crime started to go down because of my initiatives. So how come now he becomes such a great man that wants to run this country? How can a man who has this painters project which failed, his supermarket project which has failed, where he owe everybody through the length and breadth of Antigua and Barbuda, and all he can tell them, wait till I become Prime Minister, I will try and sort you out. Well, we're going to sort you out when you're Prime Minister. What do you intend to do? Brothers and sisters, you must not be fooled. I can assure you that down in City West, the tide has turned. We are coming home, and with your support, we will bring it home. Until I come again, keep the faith. Support United Progressive Party. Support the Honorable Baldwin Spencer, our leader, until I come again.